Alright, what's up everybody? Eric Bynum back again. Today we're going to do a little bit of uh, We Didn't Start the Fire history. Starting off with the lyrics of the great Billy Joel song is Harry Truman. So let's go through just a little bit about Harry Truman. Not going to go in depth on any of these. You can find out more. I mean, there's volumes and volumes written about Harry Truman. If you don't know, he was the 33rd President of the United States. Uh, he took over after the death of Franklin Roosevelt in April 1945 and continued the presidency, winning re-election, and was out of office in January 1953. Hails from Missouri. He was a senator for 10 years before being named vice president for FDR's fourth term. He'd go on to be vice president just for a few months because Roosevelt would die early in that fourth term. He served in World War I as a captain of a field artillery unit, and he returned home and opened a haberdashery. That's just a fun word to say, haberdashery, in Kansas City. Was eventually elected as a judge in Jackson County in 1922. And he had an interesting presidency as he was the one who ushered in the use of the atomic bomb in 1945 and was president at the beginning of the Cold War. One of his long-standing declarations was the Truman Doctrine, which essentially became the basis of the United States policy towards communism during the Cold War. Essentially saying that they would help anybody that was fighting off communism. He implemented the Marshall Plan in Europe at the end of World War II to help rebuild Western Europe, helped establish NATO as a protection against the Soviet Union and communist aggression, and won a surprising election over Thomas Dewey. I'll post the photo here, but it's one of the most famous photos in presidential history where Truman is holding up the newspaper that says he lost, and he actually didn't. He saw the beginning of the Korean War, oversaw the Berlin airlift in 48 and 49. Excuse me, and fought really for control with Douglas MacArthur before he fired him. Kind of an up and down presidency, did a lot of great things. After poor polling leading up to the 52 election, he decided to enter retirement and not run again. Immediately after his president, he was seen as a great one. However, as time has passed, I'm sorry, let me take that back. Immediately after his presidency, he was not seen as a great one. But as time has passed, he's received more credit and higher standing among fellow presidents. And I think that's one thing to bear in mind. No matter the president, you really cannot tell the greatness or the lack of greatness until years later and see what those policies actually, come to fruition or not, and what happens with all of those. He was married for 53 years. That in itself is quite the accomplishment. And he died in 1972. He and Bess, his wife, had one daughter, Margaret. If you're looking for a biography, David McCullough wrote the preeminent biography on Truman, simply named Truman. Was released in 1993. It is on my long list of biographies to read. I hope to soon start John Adams. I'm trying to go chronologically through the presidents. As you can see, I've only gotten through one. You can visit his presidential library and museum in Independence, Missouri, which I really hope to do one day. I love presidential libraries. It's one of 13 administered by the National Archives. Fun fact is, we all know him as Harry S. Truman. And the S actually doesn't stand for anything. It was a compromise between his two grandfathers whose names started with S. So there you have it, just a little bit about Harry S. Truman, our 33rd president, and the beginning of the lyrics for Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. Stay tuned for more. Next up, we will have a little tidbit on the late, great Doris Day. Stay tuned.